Your past is a gift. Now, in this video, I wanted to talk about death because for some reason, since I can remember actually, since I have memories, I've always been fascinated with death, like what happens when you die, and always fascinated is the word, because at the time I didn't think of death as a good thing or a bad thing, or I just wondered what happens as a kid. I remember being 4 and I pretended one day to be dead, right? I held my breath as much as I could when Mum walked in the room, and I wouldn't breathe to see how she'd react. And of course my Mum flipped a wig and all this yelling and all this, chaos went on, and I thought, oh, maybe it's not such a good thing, right? So I never did that to my Mum again. Poor Mum, I'm sorry for that. But it was just the curiosity of it. What happens? Anyway, so recently I stumbled on a video, Neale Donald Walsch, and he was talking about his last book called Home with God. And he said it talks all about death and it takes away your fear of death, or, all of that. But I just thought I'll read it just to get some insight, And, what I was thinking was, because 9 months from today, 9 months ago, one of my dearest friends passed away, and she was only 35, right? And to me that was a shock, of how fragile life is, and how we can't take it for granted, even though I always say that to everybody I know. And I think my urgency came from this having to live life, and making the most of every day. From when I was young, I would have been about 12 or 13. I just started high school, or I was about to start high school. And my dad had his first major heart attack and ended up in the hospital. And we almost lost him, because he'd already been suffering for months before this happened. And from that time, I just remember thinking, wow, it can just happen at any time. I can't really take for granted that I've got this day, because I may not, And it's not up to me. Like the day I came, the day I was born, the day I go is the day I go, and some of us go at 35, some of us will go, my grandma died when she was 71 from her heart attack, my dad's mum. So, we all have different lifespans. Some of us create an amazing amount within the little lifespan we have. I think of Mozart in his 35 years, and the music he created and left behind is just, amazing. And yet other people might have a whole lifetime of 90 years and left nothing behind but pain. It's just been a whole line, a trail of, hurting people all the way through, right? And that's all they've created. So however little or long you live, I don't think it really matters, if you're putting everything into it. But what I was thinking today, and after I'd read this book, Home with God, I realized that we grieve or we get upset when a person dies when they're valuable to us. When we really love them and they loved us and they made us feel so good just to be around them. They remind us of who we are. They see you, they value you, that you're important to them. And every time I would see this friend, that's how I felt, and I felt the same way about her. I felt that she had value, to me she was valuable, and I just loved her. I loved being around her. She made me feel good whenever I was with her. So when we grieve, we miss that. We miss that we know we can no longer make any more memories with them. So for those of you out there that it took me a long time to stop crying over her death. It took me months. I know it's only been 9 months now, but I remember I was really sick in hospital in October, and my husband said to me, you have to choose. If you're going to let that be the end of you, that grief that I was going through, or, you have your own life to continue with. And so at that moment, I thought, it was a sign for me. I'd gotten so sick after I'd been so sad, and I thought, okay, I have to make a choice. I can keep feeling sad and I can keep feeling bad that my friend is gone, or I can live on and keep her memory alive. you know. Now, if you are grieving for someone that you love and someone that you've lost, oh God, you know, I think sometimes I'm so lucky that I had her in my life. I feel so grateful. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed with that feeling of feeling so grateful that I ever got to meet her. She came into my life, you know. So I give thanks for that. And I remember all the happy memories I had with her. And I remember the sad ones too. You know, and I know sometimes when I cry or I get upset is because I'm no longer able to make memories with her. You know, she's no longer here for me to talk to share, to connect with. That's the only sadness. But it should be a celebration because she was such a beautiful human being, you know, one of the most, I think, beautiful people I've ever met in my life. And I'm not talking about, yes, she was beautiful externally, but just, you know, watching her with her children and the patience that she had with her children, just beautiful. You know, something that I think none of the other mums in that group had. We all used to admire how calm she was with her kids. You know, when we were all losing the plot and going off the handle and stop doing that, you know, you know, you're going to hurt yourself, and we'd be going off frantically, worrying all the time. And she was always so calm and so composed and just so beautiful. How she spoke to her children was just one example I always carry with me, you know. And sometimes people come into your lives to show you that how you can be a better person. You know, what you can take away from that. What you can do better, I guess. We admire things, but we have it in us to do that too. You know? Those traits, the things that you admire, the qualities that you see in others, they're in all of us. It's not exclusive to that person. It's in all of us. So when you admire something, you can take that on. You can strive towards that as well. If it's something that you really feel strongly about, you know, you really want to have that in your life. Rather than be envious of it, work towards it. You know, work towards making that a stronger asset for you, in you, you know? So, the other thing I thought of, and I instantly thought this morning, wow, I've got to put these videos together. So the first one is, yes, it's okay to grieve when you've lost someone that you really, really loved, that you still really love, okay? And they loved you. It's okay to miss them. It's okay to be sad that you can no longer share your life with them and you can't create new memories with them. That was it. You know, we have to give thanks that we are better people because of them, because we met them, because they came into our lives. We are better for it. In the next video though, I wanted to talk about what happens when you lose someone that you did not feel that way about. Someone that you have issues with, because I know many people will lose a parent or a sibling, like my uncle with my dad. And he went to, you know, he died angry at my dad. So I want to talk about that in the next video. And we'll try and resolve that. But for those of you, if you've loved and you've lost that person, it's okay to miss them. It's more than okay to miss them, because you are actually, you know, you're remembering them, you're honoring their memory. Okay, my darling. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe below so you don't miss any of the messages. And I'll see you in the next video, okay? And we'll talk more about this topic of death. All right, bye for now.